Joey didn't ask for much, just a place where no one yelled, no fists slamming on tables, no cold metal bunk beds, and no more fake promises. But that night, all he had was a thin blanket, a cardboard mat, and an alley behind a diner that smelled like old grease and burnt fries. He tucked himself into the corner, arms around his knees, trying to make the cold go away. That's when he heard it. A tiny whimper, soft, hesitant, almost like someone was crying without wanting to be heard. Joey froze, then slowly peeked behind. The dumpster, there, shivering in a wet cardboard box, was a puppy. Small, mud-covered, ears drooping, bones visible through thin fur. Its eyes met his for just a second, wide, frightened, and tired. Joey whispered, "You lost too." The puppy didn't move, just stared. Joey looked at the sky. No stars tonight, just clouds and the smell of rain. Without another word, he shuffled back to his blanket and held it open with one hand. "You can share, little guy." The puppy hesitated. Then it limped forward slowly, dragging a back paw. It crawled under the blanket and pressed into Joey's side like it had done this before. Like it had once known love and was trying to remember what it felt like. Joey's breath hitched. "You're warm." The puppy made a sound, half sigh, half whimper, and tucked its head under Joey's arm. Joey could feel the heartbeat against his ribs. Fast, nervous, alive. He whispered again, "It's okay. I don't bite." They stayed that way for a while, two broken things keeping each other from falling apart completely. Later that night, the rain started. Joey pulled the blanket tighter around them. It wasn't enough, but it was something. The puppy made a soft grunt and curled tighter into his chest. "You don't got a name, huh?" Joey asked. The puppy didn't answer, of course, but he looked up with those big brown eyes, as if saying, "I'm here. I'm still here." Joey swallowed. "Yeah, me too." In the morning, the sun peeked out from the clouds, weak and yellow. Joey sat up slowly. The puppy stirred with him, letting out a sleepy squeak. He smiled for the first time in days. Maybe weeks. "I guess you're mine now." He stood, brushing crumbs off his shirt, and wrapped the puppy in the blanket like a baby. He walked to the back door of the diner and knocked softly. Sometimes, if the manager wasn't around, the cook would slide him old toast or fries. A grumpy voice barked from inside, "We're closed." Joey didn't argue, just turned around. But as he walked away, the door creaked open and a paper bag hit the ground behind him. He turned. No one there, just the bag and steam rising from it. He grinned. "Looks like someone's got a heart after all." He sat on the curb and opened the bag. 2 stale pancakes, a slice of ham, and a boiled egg. He tore the egg in half and gave the puppy the yolk. "Fair share," he said. The puppy gobbled it like it hadn't eaten in days. "Slow down," Joey laughed. "You're gonna choke." The puppy paused, mid-chew, looked at him, then went right back to eating. That afternoon, Joey wandered the streets with the puppy tucked into his jacket. People stared, a few pointed. One woman muttered, "Shameful." A child and a dog on the street. Joey just kept walking. He found an old grocery cart and lined it with newspaper and cardboard. It wasn't much, but it meant he didn't have to hold the puppy all the time. As night came again, they returned to the same alley. Joey lay the blanket down and whispered, "At least we got each other now." The puppy, still unnamed, crawled into the same spot beside him and sighed. Joey whispered into the fur, "I used to have a dog. Before everything went wrong. She was brown too, and smart. You kinda remind me of her. The puppy licked his chin once, gentle and quiet. Joey closed his eyes. Maybe tomorrow will be better. Silence answered then. One soft tail wag, tap, tap. It was enough that night. Joey didn't cry. He didn't dream either. He just slept for the first time in weeks, knowing someone was there. Someone small, someone hurt, but someone who stayed. And in that alley behind the diner, under a thin, dirty blanket, a bond was born. A boy with nothing, a puppy with no name, and one shared moment of warmth. Asterisk, asterisk, the next morning. Joey woke to a warm tongue on his cheek and a tail thumping gently against his ribs. The puppy was awake before him, already full of energy, nose poking at a crumpled wrapper beside the dumpster. Joey stretched under the thin blanket and yawned. "You're a morning person, huh?" The puppy barked once. It was soft, like he didn't want to be too loud. Joey smiled. "You need a name." He sat up and studied the pup brown fur, dirty but soft white patch on the chest, ears too big for his head. He looked like a mess, but then again, so did Joey. He looked around the alley, then at the old shopping cart they'd claimed. "We've got nothing," Joey muttered. "No home, no money, just each other." The puppy tilted his head like he understood. Joey rubbed the pup's head and sighed. "Still, you found me. Or maybe I found you." He paused. Then he said it aloud. "Lucky, that's your name." The puppy barked again and wagged his tail. Joey chuckled. "Not because we are lucky, but maybe we'll pretend." From that day forward, Joey and Lucky were never apart. They wandered the back streets of the city, weaving between people who looked the other way, past shops with no loitering signs, past places that once felt like home, until home stopped meaning anything. Every morning they scouted for food. Joey knew which dumpsters had the best scraps and which ones weren't worth the effort. Lucky would sniff around, sometimes digging out a stale sandwich or a half-eaten burger. "Good find," Joey would say, and tear it in half. "You get first." But Lucky never argued. Some days they got lucky. Leftover fries, once even a slice of pizza. Other days, just crumbs. But Joey always shared, always, even when his stomach growled louder than the puppy's. One afternoon, they sat behind an old bus stop. Joey spoke softly while Lucky rested his chin on his lap. "My mum used to braid my hair," he said, fingers running through the puppy's fur. "Said I looked like a little warrior." Lucky blinked up at him. "After she got sick, no one wanted me. They kept sending me to these homes, but they never really wanted a kid like me." Joey's voice cracked, but he kept going. "One place had 3 other kids. I shared a room with a boy who used to steal my stuff. He broke my last picture of Mum." He looked down at Lucky. "I don't have anything left from before. Just this blanket. And now, ... you." Lucky moved closer, paw resting on Joey's foot. That small touch made Joey choke back a tear. "I talk too much, huh?" he whispered. Lucky thumped his tail once. That night, they curled up under the same blanket again. Lucky's body was warmer now, less bony, still small, but stronger. Joey wrapped his arms around him. "As long as I'm breathing, you'll never be alone again." The days passed slow. Joey started noticing things about Lucky, how he barked when people got too close, how he wagged his tail when Joey sang to him, how he growled at shadows and always positioned himself between Joey and strangers. He was small, but he was brave. One day a man walked past and sneered, "Filthy mutt." Joey stood up. "He's cleaner than most people I've met." The man laughed and walked off. Lucky barked once and pressed into Joey's leg. Joey patted his head. "You're my family now." In the evenings, Joey would talk for hours about his mum's laugh, about the foster lady who cooked too much soup, about the time he ran from a place where they tried to cut his hair short. "They said it was to help me fit in," he told Lucky, "but I didn't want to fit in there. I wanted someone who'd listen. Just listen." Lucky blinked, still and quiet. "You're a good listener." Joey smiled. Every night before sleeping, Joey whispered, "Good night, Lucky." And every night, the pup would nuzzle into his chest, like he understood every word. One day, Joey saw a group of boys about his age playing with a frisbee at the park. He stood at the fence, watching. For a second, he forgot he was hungry, forgot he didn't belong. Lucky barked softly, reminding him they had to move. Joey nodded. "Yeah, I know. Can't stay long." They wandered off again, past the laughter and the green grass, back to the places where no one watched. Still, Lucky didn't seem to mind. As long as he had Joey, that was enough. And Joey, for once in his life, he didn't feel invisible. Not with Lucky beside him. Not anymore. If you feel connected to this story, please like, share, and let know your city or country below. Joey didn't know anyone was watching. To him, it was just another morning. Cold, quiet, barely a crumb in his pocket. He sat at the edge of the alley, Lucky curled in his lap, their blanket folded neatly beside them. The sun hadn't climbed far, and the streets were still waking up. Across the road stood a little bakery, the kind with bright windows and soft music playing inside. Joey didn't dare go near it. He didn't want the stares or the shooing hands. But from inside, someone was watching, 12-year-old. Maddie leaned her elbows on the window ledge, a half-eaten muffin in her hand. She spotted them through the glass. A boy about her age, face tired, hair messy, but eyes kind. And beside him, the dog, small, brown, and curled like a comma against the boy's side. She saw the boy tear a crust from a leftover bun and place it carefully in front of the dog. "Eat," he whispered. The dog sniffed it, then looked up at him. "Go ahead," the boy smiled. "You first." Maddie felt something heavy settle in her chest. That boy was feeding his dog before feeding himself. "Who is he?" she asked her mum, who was boxing pastries behind the counter. "Just a street kid. Shows up now and then," her mum replied without looking up. "Does anyone help him? City's full of people who need help, Maddie. You can't fix everyone." Maddie frowned. Her mum was kind, but sometimes too practical. Later that day, Maddie watched again. The boy walked around the trash bin near the bakery, not digging, just looking. The dog followed behind like a shadow. Joey whispered to Lucky, "They probably toss good stuff here." Lucky sniffed a paper bag and wagged his tail once. Joey opened it, a half croissant, a bite of cheese. He smiled and split it in two. "You're getting the big half today." From inside, Maddie saw it all. That night, she lay in bed thinking about them. The boy, the dog, the way he smiled at nothing, the way the dog never left his side. The next morning, she made a choice. She woke up early, before her parents. She grabbed a brown paper bag from the kitchen, filled it with a buttered roll, a small packet of jam, and a bottled water outside. She paused near the alley. Joey was there, blanket around his shoulders, Lucky asleep beside him. Maddie didn't say a word. She tiptoed forward, set the bag down a few feet away, and slipped back toward the bakery. Lucky's ears twitched. He lifted. His head sniffed the air and nudged Joey's arm. Joey stirred. "What is it, boy?" He looked up, saw the bag, then glanced around. No one. He picked it up slowly, almost afraid it was a mistake. Inside, food. Real food, he blinked. "Is this ... for us?" Lucky licked his hand. Joey didn't ask questions. He just smiled and whispered, "Thank you, stranger." From the bakery window, Maddie saw his reaction. She saw him open the roll and smear the jam, carefully offering the first bite to Lucky. Her throat tightened. The next morning, she did it again. A sandwich, an apple, another water bottle. Each time, she left it quietly, never letting him see her, and each time, Joey looked around, smiled, and said softly, "Thank you." He started calling the mystery giver the bread angel. He joked, "With Lucky, maybe she's got wings and a backpack full of snacks." Lucky wagged his tail. By the fourth day, Maddie added a note to the bag. "You're not invisible. Someone sees you." Joey read it aloud, his hands trembling. He didn't know why it hit so hard. Maybe because all his life, he'd felt like a ghost walking past people who never looked up. He folded the note and tucked it in his pocket like it was gold. That night, he whispered to Lucky, "I don't know who she is, but I think she's real." Maddie kept watching. She didn't know what to say. She wasn't brave enough to talk to him yet, but every day she left something behind. She noticed things too. How Joey always made sure Lucky ate first. How he brushed the pup with his fingers, picking out burrs and smoothing fur. How he talked like Lucky was the only one who truly listened. One afternoon it rained, hard. Maddie panicked. She looked out the window, but the alley was empty. Joey and Lucky were gone. She stared for hours, heart tight in her chest. That night, she slipped outside with a flashlight and the biggest bag of food she could carry. She walked the alley. "Nothing," she whispered. "Where are you?" Then she heard it, a faint cough, and the shuffle of paws under the old staircase beside the diner. There they were, soaked, shivering, but together. Maddie dropped the bag and turned before Joey saw her. But he did. He caught a glimpse of her blue jacket, her ponytail swaying as she ran. He didn't chase her. He just whispered, "So it's you." Lucky thumped his tail softly. Joey opened the bag and stared at the sandwich wrapped in foil. He smiled. She's real. And for the first time in a long time, he believed that maybe, just maybe, people could care. Not because they had to, but because they chose to. The storm came fast. Wind howled through the alleys like it was hunting something. Trash blew sideways. Windows slammed, and the sky turned the kind of grey that felt like warning. Joey felt it in his bones. He gripped the blanket tighter around himself and Lucky as they rushed down the street, searching for any kind of cover. "Come on, boy," he said. "We'll wait it out." They reached the old bridge by the train tracks. It wasn't much, but the concrete underneath stayed dry. Joey huddled against the wall and pulled Lucky into his lap. "You okay?" he whispered. Lucky let out a low whimper and pressed close. Joey wrapped the blanket around both of them. "Just a little rain. We've seen worse." But it wasn't just rain. Thunder cracked like a whip. Lightning lit up the city in white flashes. Joey tried to hum to calm Lucky. "It's okay, ... We're safe under here." But even he didn't believe it. The wind shifted suddenly. Joey heard voices loud, laughing, cruel. He looked up. 3 boys stood at the edge of the underpass, teenagers' faces hidden under hoodies. One had a baseball bat slung over his shoulder. "Well, look what we got here," one sneered. "A rat and his mutt." Joey stood slowly, shielding Lucky. "We're not bothering anyone." The tallest boy stepped forward. "You think you belong here?" "This is public," Joey said, voice shaking. The boy grinned. "So's the street. Doesn't mean trash should be lying around." Lucky barked, a low, protective sound. Another boy laughed. "Oh no, the little dog's gonna save you." The boy with the bat stepped closer and swung it near Joey's feet, not hitting, but close enough to make him flinch. Lucky growled. "Back off," Joey said, stepping in front of the puppy. The first boy shoved Joey hard. He stumbled into the wall, hitting his shoulder. Lucky barked louder. "What's the matter?" One taunted. "Need your dog to fight for you." Joey gritted his teeth. "Leave us alone." But they did in single quotes. One of them picked up a glass bottle from the ground. He aimed at Lucky. Joey's heart stopped. "No!" He screamed, diving forward. The bottle flew. Lucky yelped. It hit his back leg with a sickening thud and shattered. Lucky, Joey, dropped to the ground, pulling the puppy into his arms. Lucky whimpered, shaking, his leg bent at a strange angle. Joey's hands trembled as he cradled him. "It's okay, I've got you, I've got you." The boys backed off, laughing. "Next time, don't act like you own the place," one said. They disappeared into the storm, their footsteps echoing in the distance. Joey didn't chase them, didn't scream. He just sat there, soaked to the bone, holding Lucky against his chest. Blood trickled from a small cut on the puppy's side. The back leg was swelling fast. Joey pressed his face into Lucky's fur. "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry." Lucky whimpered again, trying to lick Joey's chin. "Don't move," Joey whispered. "We'll get help, but where? Who would help a boy with no address?" He looked at the empty street, then at the bakery across town. He knew he couldn't make it that far on foot with Lucky in pain, but he had to try. Joey wrapped Lucky in the blanket and gently placed him in the shopping cart. He covered him with an old shirt and whispered, "Hang on, okay?" Lucky blinked, eyes glassy. Joey pushed the cart through the rain, 1 block at a time. Cars splashed water on them. No one stopped, not even to look. His legs burned, his shoulder ached, but he kept going. Every few minutes, he glanced down. "You're still with me, right?" Lucky let out a faint sound. Barely there, but enough. They made it to the alley by the bakery. Joey collapsed beside the cart, breathing hard inside. The lights were still on. He reached into his pocket and pulled out the old note Maddie had left, the one that said, "You're not invisible." He stared at it, then at the window. He didn't know if she was watching tonight, but he hoped. He stood up and limped to the door, knocked once, waited, knocked again, nothing. He was about to turn back when the door opened. Maddie stood there in pajamas, holding a towel. She gasped, "Joey." He didn't even ask how she knew his name. He just stepped aside. "He's hurt. Please, I don't know where else to go." She ran outside and saw Lucky in the cart, wrapped in the soaked blanket. Her eyes filled. "Dad, come quick." Joey fell to his knees beside the cart. "Please don't let him die." Maddie's father came rushing out, wearing a vet uniform and holding a flashlight. He knelt beside Lucky and gently touched his leg. Bad swelling, possible fracture. We need to get him inside. Now, he looked up at Joey. Come with us. Joey froze. Inside a house. He hadn't done that in a long time, but Lucky whimpered again, eyes pleading. Joey nodded. They lifted the cart together and carried it into the warmth of the bakery's back room. As the rain poured outside, Joey followed behind, soaked, cold, and scared. But for the first time in a long time, he wasn't alone. Not anymore, asterisk. Lucky lay still on the counter, wrapped in the soggy blanket, his legs swollen and his breathing fast. Joey stood beside him, dripping rainwater onto the tile floor, shivering but not moving an inch away. Maddie hovered nearby, holding a towel. Her dad, Dr. Harris, didn't speak at first. He was focused, calm. His hands moved over Lucky's leg with practiced care. He's hurting, Joey whispered. He got hit by a bottle. I can see that, Dr. Harris said gently. You did the right thing bringing him here. Joey looked down. I didn't know where else to go. You came to the right place, the vet replied, reaching for his supplies. I'm going to help him, but I need you to step back a little, okay? Joey hesitated. Maddie stepped beside him. He'll be okay. My dad's good at this. Lucky let out a soft whimper. Joey backed up 2 steps, but never took his eyes off the table. Dr. Harris cleaned the wound, examined the leg, and applied a cold compress. He worked quietly, like he'd done this 100 times before. Maybe he had. Is it broken? Joey asked. Possibly a hairline fracture, Dr. Harris said. We'll need to wrap it and keep him off it for a few days. With rest, he should heal. Joey let out a shaky breath. Thank you. The vet looked over at him for the first time. Really looked. The soaked clothes, the bruises on his arm, the dirt on his neck. He didn't ask what had happened. He didn't ask where Joey lived. He just said, You hungry? Joey blinked. What? There's soup on the stove. Joey opened his mouth to speak, but nothing came out. Maddie smiled softly. I'll get it. Minutes later, she handed Joey a warm bowl and a roll of bread. He sat down slowly in the corner, still watching Lucky. The first bite burned his mouth, but he didn't care. He hadn't tasted something that warm in weeks. Why are you helping me? Joey asked. Dr. Harris looked up from bandaging Lucky's leg. Because you needed it. That's simple. That's simple. Joey looked down at the soup again. He didn't know what to say. No one had helped without asking for something back. When Lucky's leg was wrapped and clean, Dr. Harris picked him up gently and set him in a soft towel-lined basket. He'll need to stave off that leg. Keep him rested, fed, warm. Joey stood up. I'll take care of him. Dr. Harris raised an eyebrow. You have a place to stay. Joey hesitated, then shook his head. The vet nodded like he already knew. You can stay here tonight, both of you. Joey looked up fast. What? Just one night, he said. You need sleep. Lucky needs recovery. Tomorrow we'll figure it out. Joey looked at Lucky, already curled up and dozing, then back at the man. I don't know how to be in a house anymore, Maddie whispered. It's not that different. Just ... warmer. Joey gave a shaky laugh. Dr. Harris motioned down the hallway. Come on, we've got a spare room. Joey picked up Lucky's basket, careful not to bump the leg. He followed them through a doorway into a small, clean room. A twin bed, a lamp, a folded blanket. Maddie placed the soup on the nightstand. You can finish that in here. Dr. Harris placed a hand on Joey's shoulder. Doors open. Bathrooms down the hall. You're safe here. Joey nodded, not trusting himself to speak. When they left, he sat on the bed and looked at Lucky, who was already snoring lightly. Joey whispered, "We're indoors, buddy. Can you believe it?" Lucky didn't stir, but his tail twitched once in his sleep. Joey sat in silence for a long time, staring at the walls. No peeling paint, no broken windows, no one yelling. He pulled the blanket over both of them and leaned back against the pillow. It smelled like lavender. He whispered, "You scared me today. I thought I lost you." Lucky moved his head slightly. Joey ran his fingers gently over the pup's ear. "I never had anyone who stayed. Everyone leaves eventually." His voice cracked. "But not you." Lucky opened one eye, then closed it again. Safe in Joey's arms. Joey looked around once more, like he was afraid it might all disappear. "I don't know why they helped us, but I'm glad they did." For the first time in a long time, his hands weren't shaking. His heartbeat had slowed, and in that quiet room, filled with soft lamplight and the sound of rain tapping the window, Joey finally let his eyes close. He didn't dream of alleys or storms. He dreamed of warm hands, gentle voices, and a basket with a brown puppy beside his bed. Asterisk, asterisk, Joey opened his eyes to sunlight streaming through soft curtains. For a moment, he forgot where he was. No concrete walls, no sounds of traffic, no damp blanket wrapped around him. Then, he turned and saw Lucky, still curled in his basket, breathing slow and steady. The memory returned. Maddie, her dad, the warmth, the kindness. He sat up slowly, the blanket falling from his shoulders. It smelled like detergent, clean, almost too clean. He rubbed his eyes and whispered, "We didn't wake up on the sidewalk." Lucky stirred and blinked at him. Joey grinned. "We made it through the night, buddy." There was a quiet knock on the door. Maddie peeked in. "Hey, you awake?" Joey nodded. "Yeah. My mum made breakfast." Joey hesitated. Is it okay that I'm still here?" Maddie smiled. "Of course. Come on." Joey gently picked up Lucky's basket and followed her down the hallway. The air smelled like toast and scrambled eggs. In the kitchen, a woman stood at the stove. She looked up and smiled warmly. "You must be Joey. I'm Dr. Harris's wife, Dana." He nodded. "Thanks for ... for letting us stay." Dana set down 2 bowls. "I thought someone small and furry might be hungry too." Joey stepped closer. There, side by side, were 2 bowls, one filled with scrambled eggs and chopped sausage, the other with water. He glanced up. "One for me and one for him." Dana nodded. "He's part of the family now, isn't he?" Joey swallowed hard. "Yeah, he is." He placed Lucky down gently. The pup sniffed the bowl and started eating slowly. Dana handed Joey a plate. "You sit, eat. No one's rushing you." He sat at the table, stiff at first, unsure how to act. Maddie plopped down across from him. "Lucky seems better today." Joey nodded. "He's tough, stronger than he looks." Maddie leaned in. "So are you." Joey looked away, cheeks flushing. They ate in silence for a few minutes. The clinking of forks and Lucky's soft chewing filled the space. Then Dana spoke. "We don't know your full story, Joey, but we want you to know you're safe here." Joey looked up. "For how long?" "As long as you need." He didn't answer, just nodded. After breakfast, Maddie showed him the backyard. There was grass, a wooden fence, a tree with a swing. Joey stood there, stunned. You have space. Yeah, she smiled. Lucky can stretch his legs once he heals. Joey glanced down at Lucky, who sniffed the air, tail wagging. Later that day, Joey helped Dana clean up the kitchen. He didn't know what else to do. She smiled gently. You don't have to earn your place here. I want to, Joey said quietly. She didn't push it. That evening, Dr. Harris checked Lucky's leg. Still swollen, but healing well. He's eating, resting. That's a good sign. Joey stayed by Lucky's side every second, brushing his fur, whispering softly. That night, Dana handed him fresh clothes. I don't have anything, he admitted. You do now, she said in the guest room. Joey stared at the folded pajamas. For a long time, he didn't move. Finally, he changed into them, sat on the bed, and looked at Lucky. We don't belong here, he whispered, but it's nice pretending we do. Lucky thumped his tail. Joey smiled. Okay, maybe we belong. A little, before turning out the light, he glanced at the two bowls, still sitting in the kitchen side by side, waiting for morning. It wasn't forever, but for now, it was enough. The following week passed like a dream. Joey didn't want to wake from Dot. Each morning started with the same two bowls on the kitchen floor. Lucky's limp was improving, and his tail wagged more now. He even tried hopping after Maddie once before. Joey stopped him gently. Not yet, bud, Joey whispered. You're still healing. Joey helped Dana sweep the porch, walked slowly beside Lucky in the backyard, and spent evenings drawing little comics in a notebook Maddie gave him. Quiet, simple days. He almost forgot to be scared, until a knock came at the door. Dana answered, and Joey heard a calm voice introduce herself as caseworker Alan. Joey froze in the hallway. Lucky, resting in his basket, perked up. Joey crouched beside him and whispered, They found us. Maddie appeared beside him. You okay? He shook his head slowly. They're gonna take me away. No, she said firmly. Just wait. They sat together at the edge of the hall, listening. From the living room, the voices were clear but soft. I've been assigned to check in on a Joey Miller, the woman said. Dr. Harris responded, He's here, safe. We've taken him in. Temporarily. There was a pause. He's been missing from the system for 6 months, the caseworker said. He ran from 2 previous placements. Dana added, with good reason, if you look close enough. I've read the reports. Joey clenched his fists. Lucky nudged his hand. Don't let them take me, Joey whispered. Please. Maddie stood up. Come on. She led him into the living room. The caseworker turned to him, surprised but kind. Joey, he nodded slowly. Yeah, she studied him. You look better than I expected. He shrugged. She glanced at Lucky. This is the dog. He's mine, Joey said quickly. You can't take him. No one's taking anyone, she said gently. I just need to understand your situation. Dr. Harris stepped in. There's something else. He pulled out a folder and handed it to her. She opened it. Inside were signed forms. I filed for guardianship, he said. Dana and I, we want to keep Joey here, permanently. Joey's mouth fell open. What? We talked to a lawyer. He's preparing everything, Dana added. It won't happen overnight. But we want to give you a home, if you want that too. Joey looked between them, then at the caseworker. Is that real? He asked. She nodded slowly. It is, even, ... with my record. With how many times I ran, Dr. Harris knelt beside him. None of that matters here. What matters is who you are now. Tears welled in Joey's eyes. I thought I didn't get chances anymore. Dana said, you get one with us. The caseworker smiled. You're a lucky kid, Joey. He glanced down at the pup in his lap. Yeah, he whispered, I guess I am. She pulled out one final paper from her bag, a temporary placement agreement. She handed Joey a pen. He stared at the line with his name on it. His hand shook as he signed. He whispered, is this real? Dana touched his shoulder. It's real. Maddie smiled. Told you belonged here. Joey looked at Lucky. The dog blinked up at him and let out a small, happy grunt. Joey laughed through tears. We're not running anymore. Asterisk, asterisk, a few days after Joey signed the papers, something strange started happening. It began with a photo. Maddie had taken it without thinking. Joey sitting on the porch, Lucky curled up at his feet. They weren't posing. They weren't even looking. The sun was setting behind them, casting a soft glow on the worn-out blanket draped over Joey's shoulders. She posted it online with a simple caption, the boy who shared his blanket with a puppy and never stopped loving him. She didn't expect what came next. Within hours, the post exploded, thousands of shares, comments pouring in. Who is this boy? Where can we help? This made me cry. By the end of the day, news outlets were messaging. People were asking for interviews. Some offered money. Others offered homes, clothes, food. Joey had no idea. Not until Dana called him into the kitchen the next morning and turned the laptop toward him. Recognize anyone? Joey blinked. That's us. Maddie smiled. It went viral. He stared at the screen. But why? Because people saw something real, Dana said. Something kind. Joey touched the edge of the laptop, then looked down. I didn't do anything special. You gave your last warmth to someone smaller than you, Dr. Harris said. In a world where people walk past kids like you without blinking, that means everything. Lucky barked softly beside Joey's chair. Joey scratched his ears. It was just a blanket. Maybe to you, Maddie said, but to the world, it was more. Within days, packages began arriving at their door. Blankets, dog toys, letters. One letter simply said, "Thank you for reminding me what love looks like, Joey." Didn't know what to do with any of it. Why would strangers care? He asked. Because deep down, most people want to believe there's still good left, Dana said. And you reminded them. The local paper ran a headline, "Boy and dog who survived together now inspire a town." Joey's picture appeared on the front page, blanket and all. That same afternoon, a teacher from the nearby school stopped by. She spoke to Dr. Harris while Joey stood quietly in the hallway. "We'd love to offer him a place here. Full scholarship, supplies covered." Joey stepped forward. "I haven't been in school for over a year." She smiled gently. "That doesn't mean you can't start again." He didn't answer, just nodded slowly. That night, Joey sat by the window, Lucky asleep beside him. He stared out into the quiet street. The blanket still around his shoulders. He whispered, "You think we really matter, boy?" Lucky stirred but didn't open his eyes. Joey smiled. "I guess we do now." The next day, something unexpected happened. A man pulled up in a dusty van, climbed out, and handed Dana an envelope. Then he left without a word. Inside the envelope was a check, $10,000. A note was paper-clipped to it. "Please use this to help more kids like Joey." That photo broke me in the best way. Joey stared at it, speechless. Dr. Harris placed a hand on his shoulder. You've done more than survive, Joey. You've changed people. Joey looked at the envelope, then at Lucky. We just didn't want to freeze. And now, Dana said, others won't have to. The family decided to start something. Simple, a small charity, just blankets and dog food for the homeless. They named it the Blanket Project. Maddie made flyers. Joey helped pack bags. Every single one had two things, a blanket and a dog treat. Joey smiled when he saw the finished baskets. Someone out there is going to need this, he said. Dr. Harris nodded, and someone like you will be there to give it. By the end of the week, 20 baskets had been handed out. One man with a shaggy beard wept when he got his. My dog and I been cold for weeks, he said. This, ... this is hope. Joey felt something warm in his chest. Not just pride, purpose. The boy who once had nothing was now giving others something to hold on to. That night, Joey laid the old blanket across the foot of his bed. It still smelled faintly of the streets, of rain, of that first night in the alley. He didn't wash it. He didn't want to, because that blanket had started everything. It happened on a Thursday night. The house was quiet. Joey had just turned off his bedroom light. Lucky was curled up at the foot of the bed, snoring lightly. The old blanket, now folded neatly, sat on the shelf across the room. Joey closed his eyes. Then Lucky growled. Low, warning, not playful. Joey sat up. What is it, boy? Lucky stood now, ears perked, eyes fixed on the window. Joey turned toward it. A shadow moved across the glass. He froze. Then the front porch creaked. Joey slid out of bed and crept toward the hallway. He peeked down the stairs. A tall figure in a dark hoodie stood at the front door. His heart dropped. He knew that shape, that stance, the way the man's hand hovered near his belt like it always used to before he hit. Something that it was him. Joey's old foster dad, the one he ran from, the one who said no one would ever want him. Joey stepped back, breath caught in his throat. The door handle jiggled. Lucky growled again, louder this time. Dr. Harris appeared from his room, pulling on a robe. What's going on? Joey pointed. It's him. It's the man I told you about. Dr. Harris didn't ask which man. He knew. He moved toward the door and flipped on the porch light. The man flinched at the brightness, stepping back. Can I help you? Dr. Harris asked firmly. The man looked straight past him, straight at Joey. You think you're safe now, he said, voice rough. You think you can just disappear? Lucky snarled, teeth showing. Dana appeared behind Dr. Harris, already dialing the police. Joey's voice shook. Why are you here? I saw your face in the paper, the man said. You belong to the system. You don't get a happy ending. Lucky barked one sharp, fierce sound. Dr. Harris stepped outside. You need to leave, now. I got rights, the man muttered. Not here you don't, Dr. Harris snapped. This is our home. Police sirens wailed in the distance. The man backed away slowly, his face twisting in frustration. You'll be back on the street, he spat. They always come back. No, Joey said quietly. Not this time. The man turned and walked off into the dark. The police arrived minutes later. Dana spoke to them while Joey sat on the couch, Lucky in his lap, trembling. He found me, Joey whispered. Dr. Harris sat beside him. He won't again. We'll file a restraining order. Joey didn't answer. He just held Lucky tighter. That night, no one slept much. The next morning, Joey sat on the porch, staring at the street. Maddie joined him with 2 mugs of cocoa. She handed him one. "I saw the lights." Joey nodded. "He scared you?" Joey looked down. "He used to lock me in a closet. Told me I was worthless. I believed him for a while." She didn't say anything, just sat close. Joey finally said, "But when I met Lucky, it changed. Someone needed me." She smiled. "And now a whole town does." He looked at her. "What if he comes back?" "Then we protect you," she said, "like Lucky did." Inside, Dana hung a new set of curtains. Dr. Harris fixed the window latch outside. Joey took a shaky breath and whispered to Lucky, "I'm not running anymore." Lucky leaned into his leg and wagged his tail. Joey knew it then. The man in the hoodie had no more power, because this time, Joey wasn't alone. A week after the porch incident, a white news van pulled up outside the Harris house. Joey saw it from the window and froze. Dana touched his shoulder. "It's okay. They just want to tell your story." "I don't want people staring at me," he said. "You don't have to say anything you don't want to," she replied. "But this is your story. Maybe someone needs to hear it." Lucky stood beside him, tail gently wagging, as if sensing the nerves in Joey's chest. The reporter, a woman with kind eyes and a soft voice, stepped out with her cameraman and smiled when she saw Joey. "I'm Katie," she said. "We've had thousands of people ask about you and Lucky. You don't have to do anything. But if you want, we'd love to let you speak. Your words, your way." Joey looked down at Lucky. "I'll do it," he said. "But only if he's with me." "Of course," Katie nodded. "He's part of this." They set up in the backyard. Under the shade of the tree, Joey sat in a chair with Lucky at his feet. The camera blinked red. Katie asked gently, "Can you tell us what happened?" From the beginning, Joey hesitated, then took a breath. "I was on the street. I'd run from a foster home. I had nowhere to go, just an alley behind a diner and a blanket." Lucky looked up, eyes soft. "And then, one night," Joey continued, "I heard this sound, this little cry. It was him, all alone. Wet, cold, just like me." Katie didn't interrupt. "I let him share my blanket," Joey said. "It wasn't much, but it was all I had. And after that night, I couldn't leave him." His voice cracked slightly. "I didn't think anyone would ever care about a kid like me, or a dog like him. But he made me feel like I mattered." Katie leaned in. "What does he mean to you now?" Joey looked at Lucky. "He's everything. I didn't save him. He saved me." The camera panned down as Lucky placed a paw on Joey's knee, as if on cue. The moment hung in the air. Katie swallowed. "What would you say to other kids like you?" Joey looked into the camera. "You're not invisible," he said. "Even if it feels like you are. One blanket, one friend, one good person, ... It can change everything." When it was over, Katie thanked him and packed up quietly. "We'll let you know before it airs," she said. Joey nodded. "Thanks for not making it weird. You made it honest," she replied. 2 days later, the segment aired on national television. The town watched. So did strangers across the country. People wept. A boy and his dog. A story of survival, kindness, and second chances. Messages poured in. One man wrote, "Your words kept me from giving up last night." A teacher in another state said, "My students are starting a blanket drive in your honor." Joey sat with Maddie reading through the messages. He was quiet, overwhelmed. "They're talking about us," he whispered. Maddie nudged his shoulder. They're listening to you. Even the mayor reached out. He invited Joey and Lucky to a local event honoring young heroes. Dr. Harris asked, "You want to go?" Joey hesitated. "I'm not a hero." "You are to him," Dana said, pointing to Lucky. Joey smiled. "Okay, we'll go." At the event, Joey stood on stage, holding Lucky in his arms. The crowd clapped as he received a plaque that read, "For courage, compassion, and unbreakable loyalty." He didn't make a speech. He just whispered into the microphone, "Thank you for seeing us." The applause was thunderous. Later that night, Joey returned home and placed the plaque on his shelf beside the folded blanket. He sat on the bed, Lucky in his lap. "We did it," he whispered, "and we're still doing it." Lucky thumped his tail. Joey leaned back and smiled at the ceiling. For the first time, the truth didn't hurt. It healed. Asterisk, asterisk. It started with one bench. A woman with a shopping cart and a thin coat sat there, crying quietly. Joey saw her while walking Lucky through the park. He paused. She looked like he used to, cold, tired, hopeless. Joey reached into his backpack and pulled out a folded blanket. It was soft, dark, blue. One of the donations from the box in their hallway. He walked over slowly. "Hi," he said. "You don't have to say anything. I just thought you might need this." She looked up, eyes red. "Why?" She asked. "Because someone once gave me a reason to keep going," he said, placing the blanket in her lap. Lucky rested his head on Joey's foot like he knew exactly what was happening. The woman nodded. "Thank you." Joey walked away, heart pounding. He didn't look back. That night, he told Dana what happened. She smiled. "You did the right thing." Maddie suggested an idea. "What if we didn't wait to find people? What if we set something up where they could come to us?" Dr. Harris agreed. "We could organize something simple, just supplies and warmth." They picked a Saturday. They chose the park near downtown Neutral Ground. Joey spent the week helping pack bags with blankets, socks, snacks, and dog treats. Lucky sat beside him, tail gently wagging with each finished bag. Joey looked at the growing pile. "You think anyone will show up?" Dana touched his shoulder. "They will." On the day of the event, the sun peeked through the clouds. Tables lined the edge of the grass, each one stacked with baskets. At the front, a handmade banner fluttered. "In the wind, the blanket project everyone deserves." Warmth. Joey stood behind the first table. Lucky wearing a little vest that read "Greeter." People came slowly at first. A man with a limp, a woman with 2 kids, a teenager with a scared dog tucked in her coat. Joey handed out bags with both hands. "No ID needed," he said. "Just take what you need." Each bag came with a note inside. "You're not invisible. Someone sees you." Maddie had written them all by hand. Joey watched the faces as they read the message. Some cried, some smiled, some just hugged the blankets like lifelines. By noon, the park was full. People sat on benches with warm food in hand. A woman stroked her dog's fur with new gloves on. A boy wrapped a blanket around his shoulders and gave the extra to his little sister. Joey walked the grass, Lucky trotting beside him, checking in on each person. One man reached out and said, "You're the kid from TV." Joey nodded. "Yeah, you're the reason I didn't give up last week." Joey didn't know what to say. He just offered him another bag later. As the sun began to set, Joey stood at the edge of the park and looked around. So many people, so many blankets. He whispered all this because of one night in an alley. Lucky. barked once, soft and proud. Joey smiled, and the wind carried the sound of hope across the grass. Winter came quietly. Snow dusted the rooftops. Trees stood bare. The streets sparkled with holiday lights. Inside the Harris home, warmth lived in every corner, the smell of hot cocoa, the laughter of Maddie and Joey decorating cookies, the sound of Lucky's paws padding softly on the wooden floor. Joey had been living there for almost 4 months now, but every morning it still felt new. His room had changed. The once empty shelf now held books, drawings, and a photo of him and Lucky under the tree in the backyard. Above his bed hung a framed copy of the newspaper article titled "The Boy, the Dog, and the Blanket That Touched the Nation." But what mattered most wasn't on the wall. It was at the foot of the bed. Folded carefully every night was the old, tattered blanket, the one that had started it all. He never washed it. He never would. It didn't smell like dirt anymore. It smelled like memory. One evening, after a quiet dinner, Joey sat on the edge of his bed while Lucky chewed a toy nearby. Dana walked in, holding a stack of papers. She smiled. "It's official." Joey blinked. "What is?" She handed him the top sheet. Across the top it read, "Adoption approval finalized." Joey stared at it. Dr. Harris appeared in the doorway. "You're our son now. No more paperwork. No more caseworkers. You're home." Joey's hands trembled. "I've never had something with my name on it that mattered," he whispered. Dana knelt down. "You matter." Tears filled Joey's eyes. "Are you sure you want me?" Dr. Harris stepped forward. "We've never been more sure of anything." Joey dropped the paper and hugged them both. Lucky barked happily and jumped onto the bed. They all laughed that night. Joey lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. He whispered, "We made it, boy." Lucky rested his head on Joey's chest, eyes half closed. "We used to sleep in a crate behind a dumpster," Joey said softly. "Now we've got our own bed." Lucky thumped his tail once. Joey smiled, and it always waits for both of us. Later that week, the family visited the shelter downtown to drop off donations. Joey handed out blankets and shook hands with kids who looked just like he once had, lost, unsure, waiting for someone to care. One boy tugged his sleeve. "Are you the one with the dog?" Joey nodded. "That's us." The boy smiled shyly. "My dog's the only good thing I got." Joey knelt down. "Then that dog's worth everything. Hold on tight." Back at home, Joey added another photo to his shelf, a group shot from the Blanket Project's biggest giveaway yet. He turned to Lucky. "Think we'll do this forever?" Lucky tilted his head. Joey grinned. "Yeah, me too." The holidays came, and for the first time, Joey wrote his name on a gift tag. He wrapped a small bone-shaped chew toy for Lucky and placed it under the tree. On Christmas morning, Lucky tore it open with a wagging tail. Best reaction ever. Joey laughed. Dana handed Joey a small box. Inside was a key, his own house key. Joey looked up, stunned. "This means ... I belong here." Dr. Harris nodded. "You always did." That night, as snow fell softly outside, Joey lay in bed with Lucky curled beside him, the old blanket tucked at their feet. He whispered, "We were just two strays." Lucky let out a deep sigh and pressed closer. Joey closed his eyes. No sirens, no fear, just quiet, safe. And finally, a bed that never asked them to leave. Did this story touch your heart? Give it a thumbs up, share it around, and and drop your location in the comments.